Hello, everyone. This is Will.
This is Alex.
Welcome back to another episode of They Mostly Come In at Night.
Mostly.
Listen, before we get to anything, what are you doing? Go to YouTube, subscribe to our channel, Mostly Come In at Night podcast. Go on any site you find podcasts. You like podcasts? Okay, go to a site you love. Okay, search They Mostly Come Out at Night. Look for our logos, the two beer mugs and the microphone in the middle.
Subscribe, follow, whatever.
Follow. If you like movie reviews, if you like bad movie reviews, we do that. We watch them so you don't have to. That's our whole slogan. That's our whole thing. It's our whole jam. So
we watch weird shit.
So please, we're having a very good year this year.
We are.
We're growing, and you know what? We're going to keep on showing up for you guys. So
Yeah. And we got some bangers.
help us to help you. Like, that's what we need, okay?
Yeah.
That's all we ask. Like, it's not a big ask.
No, it really isn't.
And that's all we're going to shill at the beginning of our movies, okay? Of our reviews. That's it. So now we're done. And now we can go on this drug fantasy trip.
Xtro.
Oh, my God. Okay, I've implored this before, but go watch this movie before you
I would say, yeah.
listen to this review.
You should probably watch this. If you like weird shit.
Seeing is really believing in this
Yeah.
In this realm. So if you can, go watch this movie like immediately, because I don't think you're gonna believe half the shit we say about this.
You can believe it, but you have to see it. You have to see it played out with, like, practical special effects.
You really do, because it's gonna sound fucking weird just describing it. Even the fact that we have to describe it is fucking weird. I have to describe some of the scenes in this movie, and it's very uncomfortable. But this movie, like, I don't know, they must have like snorted
Bender.
You know, at like the end of like Scarface, when
he's got the mountain,
like a mountain of cocaine, and he's just ramming his face into it.
Yeah.
I guarantee that's
the making of this.
Did.
Yeah,
that was like the real life shot of how this director like started this movie, like started like even thinking about like writing the screenplay for this movie.
it took 3 people. Will
I know, and
it took 2 people to write the screenplay, and then there was one person who's credited as additional dialogue, which I can only imagine.
And I don't mean to
means.
like offend anybody by this, but he has the most British sounding. The director has the most British sounding name in all of existence.
Harry Bromley Davenport.
Yes, that is his name. And
Bromley.
Like Henry Bromley Davenport. Like,
You can picture it in a movie.
Just think about it.
Like you picture like the uptight like British lord that's like introduced in a movie.
Harry Bromley Davenport.
And it's just like, that's our man.
Yeah, that's him.
But he made a absolute insanity
All I
fest.
can gather from this movie is he likes drugs a lot.
Yeah.
He
likes
has
drugs.
an obsession. And he likes weird alien shit.
Oh, he loves aliens. Listen, there's 2 sequels to this, and they all contain aliens. I mean, do what you gotta do, bro. That's fine. I support it.
Now, I will admit, like, this review might go quick, but this movie goes quick. This movie, like, it does not slow down. Like,
Well, there's no
like,
build up.
There's no chill to this movie. Like, there's literally zero chill. It's been a while since I've seen a movie with this little chill. Like,
It just starts.
Like, it just goes. Like, it does not.
There's no build up.
It doesn't even give you time to like process who's who or anything. There's no character build up. There's nothing. It just flies.
It goes. It's that
and
magical time when, genre films are like an hour and a half long, and in this case, that hour and a half is just, there's just things happening. It does not stop.
There is a lot of content here, and we're about to go over it. So here we go. And please believe us when we say this is in the movie. This I'm going to put this warning right here. This is everything we are about to describe is in this movie.
It's in the movie.
We're not making any of this up.
And it's on screen with like practical effects.
Yes.
It's there.
Someone made this really. It's it's a fucking wild ride. That's all I'm gonna say. It's fucking wild. It's like fucking Willy Wonka's like tunnel, but for like an hour and a half.
For an hour and a half, yeah. And R-rated. Very R-rated.
And you don't know which way it's going.
No.
Like, really and truly, I had no idea.
No.
So, anyway, let's start. This is Xtro. Xtro.
Xtro. I don't know what that means, but it's fine.
I don't either because...
it sounds sci-fi.
It does. And they literally don't describe what that means. So,
no one cares.
It's fine. It's just a title.
It's fine.
Because at the beginning, you get a beam of light with an X, and then it just says Xtro.
And then the credits.
And then the credits over a starry background. And then you're like, okay, cool. Maybe it's like doing that cliche thing where the alien comes from space, after...
Kind of.
No. Well, kind of, but in a very weird way.
Well, it's just like, it's like this like faraway shot of like a house in the, I don't know what you
It's like a
call
cottage.
it.
It's like an English countryside cottage.
And there's like a dad, his kid, and a dog playing outside.
And they're playing outside, and he's like dad's holding the stick, and he's like, okay, you ready? You ready? I don't know why you would play fetch with a dog like this, but he decides to throw it at the roof of the house.
Yes.
For no reason, like literally no reason.
Fatal mistake.
It was just the worst mistake of his life because he throws this thing and the stick just suspends and it like goes in slow motion and suspends in midair.
Yeah.
And then a bright ass beam of light comes down and like starts like sucking him in.
Well, it changes from day to night and there's a giant like light in the sky.
It is practical, but it looks like just a giant, like, fucking light bar.
It's fine.
It's fine. I mean, it's okay.
They couldn't exactly afford a UFO.
But it's like the dad's like getting like sucked behind, and like they're like, and the son like goes behind a wall so he doesn't get like sucked anymore, and then the dad gets sucked into oblivion.
And then it's just like the kid wakes up from a nightmare, and you get the implication that it's been 3 years, and he thinks his dad.
I'm gonna just say this right now. I think this kid has like a kid's like ultimate bed. It is like it's a
the fucking jungle gym.
I'm just gonna get this out of the way. It's like a fucking jungle gym. It has like it's like
it's got everything.
It's like a single bed that has like a desk underneath. It has handlebars. There's like a little like rope swing at the end of it too. It's literally like they put together like an outdoor playground and then put a bed on top of it.
Don't forget there's like bars sticking out that have like masks on them and stuff.
Yeah, for like no reason. This is like it's like the ultimate kid's bed.
Just art, I guess. It
is the ultimate kid's bed.
Yeah.
I just have to get that out of the way. His bed is lit.
And he says like, yeah, I saw like daddy and all this stuff. His mom and her like current boyfriend think that it's like all this stuff he talks about, like a light in the sky and whatever.
Yeah.
It's just like him coping with the fact that the dad walked out on him.
Right, because the mom is convinced, because she wasn't there for the whole like light show thing. So she's convinced that he just walked out one day and didn't like ever like say a single word, and she like hates him for it.
And she thinks that the kid saying all this like fantastical stuff is just like him coping from like the trauma of this. And they also have they have like a live-in like
it's like a live-in.
She's like a
nanny.
I
don't know what she. It never really explains. Her name is Eloise, right?
Yeah.
And it never explains like who exactly she is. It doesn't really explain. Like you don't really get a feel for who everyone else is, except for like the key characters.
Well, it's a simple film, and I don't know. Listen, I'm not like up to my stereotypes, but I guess in the UK, because like the live-in nanny's French, so she spends half the movie fucking naked. That's there you go.
What's weird is I feel like they also did this thing like because it's very 80s, right? So like
yeah,
they could do more. But like she spends half. She's French, so she spends very stereotypical. 'Cause so she spends half the movie naked,
Yeah.
and half the movie like asleep, like all the time.
Yeah.
Like she's like taking naps all the
Yeah.
time. Like they even like say it like explicitly, like, oh, she just is in bed all the time.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, like
Until she has to get
I
out
get
of
it,
bed.
product of the times, but whatever, it's fine.
Look, it's fine. I mean, I guess. Listen, the Brits have their stereotypes about the French, so
Listen,
makes its way.
Harry Davenport doesn't care. He's gonna make a movie that
you
he
saw
wants to
this
make,
film. You know he doesn't care.
Harry Bromley Davenport doesn't give a single fuck about
you know
anything.
he doesn't care. It's fine, but like so.
So anyway,
it
we're
keeps
getting
going.
off subject, but yeah,
It
so-
keeps going. Like there's like we get a matte painting, right? And there's like a light going across the matte painting,
yeah.
and then a fucking triangle spaceship shows up, and then suddenly there's fire.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's like on fire, and then we see this like thing like growing out of the ground, and it's like this alien thing, but you see like fake teeth like coming out of the ground and everything. And then we finally like see an alien crawl up like all weird. It's a crab walking, but like he like gets out of the fucking dirt and like he's on all fours.
Yeah,
And his like head is twisted around. It's pretty effective. Thankfully they don't show it too much.
no.
But
And then we get a
get-
shot that is kind of weird because I've seen this scene as a fucking GIF, just like randomly, but it's like a couple, like they're driving in the woods, and they're just driving down. You see their car driving down the woods, and then there's like a 1 second shot from like the dashboard of the car
of the alien.
of the dude in the alien costume crab walking, and it's just like, and then it like flashes that it like hits him.
Yeah, and then so they swerve on the road, and
But
the
I've
guy.
seen that fucking scene as like a black and white GIF before.
If I can find it, I'll post it to our
I had
social media.
no
Like,
goddamn clue.
because I've seen it too.
Yeah,
Like it's funny because some memes will pop up and it's from movies we've seen before.
yeah,
And I'm just like, holy shit! Like now I get the like, not the context of the
Yeah.
meme obviously, but I get where the source.
because yeah, I remember
material is.
seeing it as like a black and white GIF of like, you know, spooky stuff or whatever, and it was like that like 3 second span of like where they're driving and like the quick shot of the thing in the woods. I had no idea it was from this goddamn.
I had no idea either, but I do know what you're talking about, and
Yeah.
it's crazy. It's crazy when we see that
guarantee
kind
you
of shit.
Other people have seen it too.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it like, you know, they pull over, the woman gets out, the guy goes out to look for it. She sees like blood.
So she gets back in the car because he's like, "Get back in the car, like just stay there. I'll be right back." And so he goes into the woods and like finds this like the body,
It's bleeding.
and he like feels the blood, and then the thing like looks at him and just limbs him.
It does.
It like licks him on the face, and
And
he
it
like
fatally-
lays back, and it's like his face is all fucked up.
It fatally limbed him, Will.
And so the woman is like getting worried, and so she doesn't try and get out of the car, but she like is looking around, and then
I
like,
think she opens the door.
oh, that's right, yeah, and she
'Cause the
like
thing-
she gets back in and she's trying to close it, and it like grabs her leg,
Yeah.
and then her foot gets caught in the steering wheel, and like something happens to her,
Yeah.
but she dies off screen, and
then
we
we-
get
and then
the boy waking up.
And he's covered in blood.
And he's covered in blood, so obviously the mom like freaks the fuck out and brings over a doctor, and the doctor's like, well, like it wasn't his blood.
He's not bleeding anywhere.
He's not bleeding anywhere. Like you just get some sleep, and they think it's like kind of like the kid playing a prank, I guess is what they
Because
chalk
he
it
keeps
up
telling
to.
them like, "Oh, it's dad."
Which is weird because honestly, realistically, that would be a pretty fucking hard prank to pull off, even for a kid.
Please don't talk about realism.
I'm not, but I'm just
'Cause-
saying their rationality is like
This
there's
some
nothing
wild
realistic.
shit.
There's nothing realistic about this movie. But the fact that they just like chalk it up to
Yeah.
that and they're all fine with it is a little ridiculous, but it's fine.
I guess they convince themselves that he's like messed up in the head because
Right.
he keeps saying like, "Oh, it's dad, it's daddy, he's coming back," and all this stuff.
Right. So, obviously they're worried because they're gonna.
He's got like a. I mean, they explain it a little more later, but he's got like a connection to his dad, and so when his dad gets hit by the car,
Well, they're also trying.
Like,
remember because they also trying to explain how like the new boyfriend is trying to be like more of a stepdad and trying to like, make the kid like him more. And
but he's not quite.
Dude, like honestly, this dude is like the only guy I actually felt for in the movie because
This dude gets a
fucking whopper of fucking bad luck.
He gets a raw deal.
He gets the raw end of the deal for the entire fucking movie.
He's just living his life trying to get along with this kid, and
he's trying to love this kid. He loves the mom. He's trying to get along with everyone, he just gets royally fucked. They don't even spit on it before they stick it in. Like he just gets fucking he gets fucked. So
what the fucking like the kid goes back to bed. Everything's fine, quote unquote fine. As fine as it could be in this movie.
They clean up everything, and like the doctor says everything's fine.
Everything's fine.
He like
in this movie.
Kind of hits on the nanny, which is kind of funny.
I mean, I guess.
And then, well, because he's like eyeing her, and he's like, "What's your name?" And she's like, "Eloise." It's like, I'll see you later, Eloise. It's like, oh my god, seriously? Like they just had to throw that in for like flavor. This movie's already weird enough. You don't have to add
flavor.
So, God, what's the next scene? Is it the dad?
Well, it's like a house in the woods.
Oh yeah, this is the start of the fucking like coked out like fever dream like movie shit that's gonna happen.
Yeah,
because like from this to this point, kind of like a straightforward alien movie, right?
Sure.
Guy gets abducted, something happens, alien comes to Earth. Right?
Sure.
It's fine. You think it's just going to be like maybe alien fuck shit up and then...
Yeah, it's a Don Doler movie.
Whatever. It's fine. No.
No, not quite.
Okay? Harry Davenport did not want a normal alien movie. Okay?
Well, he definitely did not want a normal movie.
So, there's this woman in the cottage. It goes back to the cottage. And...
The alien... We see, like, the alien walking up to it.
It's like monster vision. And she's just, like... living her life, and she hears something weird, so she like locks all the doors and everything, and then like she's like looking out the kitchen window, and she goes back to check something, and like the alien arm like sticks out and like trips her, and she sees this thing, and I thought like, oh, it's gonna limb her again because that's like what it does.
Not quite.
Hell no. the alien gets on top of her.
It's suggestive.
I think I know kind of what imagery they were going for.
Oh,
it's pretty fucking obvious. And you know what?
The hole that opens.
Yeah, it's like
What does it look like?
Look, it looks like a dick. Yeah, okay.
Not just that. It looks like a vajayjay, and a dick coming out of it. Because it's like a hole that opens up in the torso.
Like a tentacle comes out of the torso, and it does open like a
yeah,
like the female anatomy.
Clever.
And then the male anatomy comes out of it like a fucking...
And suctions her on the mouth.
Yep, and then she passes out.
And that ends.
So later she wakes up. Oh no, we don't get that yet, do we? Or does it do another scene? Or is it her waking up?
I think it's them putting the kid to bed. Pretty sure it's them putting the kid to bed.
Yeah, it's not like a really important scene. Yeah. That's right, because they just put the kid to bed, and he has like this weird feeling.
Yeah.
Right? But like they just like kind of chalk it up to like, oh, okay, it's just their typical kid bullshit. So,
Yeah.
So the woman in the cottage wakes up, and she's like, her mouth is like covered with like something. I guess we should say like she did try and like she grabbed a gun and thought something was weird, and then she got tripped. I guess that's...
Well, the thing also, it also bit her on the hand.
So she wakes up and she's like looking around, and like you can see her stomach's kind of like a little bit bigger.
But then she like walks over to the sink and starts washing her hands, and then like...
Her stomach gets like fucking huge.
It keeps growing.
And then she like lays on the ground and like it shows her next, and her stomach is like literally like 8 times the size of her fucking body.
It'd be large,
It's
Will.
fucking huge. And then, you know, like the fucking dad starts fucking like Ace Venturaing himself out
The
of
rhino?
like like fucking like it's she's giving birth to a full-grown male.
And it's like they go all out. Like,
Well, they go hard, like fucking like guts and everything come out, and then
he's
he,
like covered in guts, and
he's like naked and pops out, and then he fucking has to like chew his own umbilical cord off. Like, this scene is fucking wild.
it's nuts.
Like, I did not expect. I don't know what I expected, but I did not expect this. Holy shit!
This was great.
Like, it's fucking nuts, and it's all practical effects. None of it's CGI.
No, it's all practical,
It's
and
fucking nuts.
yeah, he comes out of it, and he goes and he finds like he goes back in the woods, and he steals the clothes from the guy that he maimed to death.
And then it's weird. He limbs the dudes, but like the women don't get so lucky. And
no, not quite.
And so he gets in the car. He steals the car that
With the dead body in it.
Yeah. So he takes it to like
He goes to town. He goes to the city, basically.
yeah. So he parks it
it.
in like a weird fucking spot, and then
It's like I don't know, it's just like a parking lot, I guess.
well, he kind of like, and it shows like the kid getting ready for school and everything.
Yeah, and like the live-in nanny or whoever, like, you know, takes the kid to school.
So he like the dad sees them because he goes back home, and he follows them to the school, so he knows like where the kid is now. And there's also when we get like a scene of like what the mom and the dude do. They're like photography, like advertisement photography.
Yeah, the guy, the stepdad is like, he does the photographs, and like we also see that when the nanny's not laying in bed
She's
or doing nanny stuff, she's getting laid
yep.
with a guy, and then he's just like, the whole time he's just like, hey, how long do we have? How long do we have?
Come on.
And I thought, well, we both thought it was when they first showed the scene.
We thought it was the dude, but like
We thought it was a stepdad.
It's not the same guy.
It's not.
a
I just
different dude.
I'm just apparently I can't tell British dudes apart. I don't know.
I guess I don't know.
It's fine.
So
And so that's, I mean, listen, do what you gotta do.
the mom like calls the
School.
school and is like, hey, I'll pick him up at like whatever, and the school's like, well, the dad already picked him up.
Yeah.
Like his dad already picked him up, and she's like, what? Like, how could that be? Like, there's no way. So she goes to like her home, right? Doesn't she see the dude playing with the kid at home?
I think so. I think they go home. I also remember there's a scene, and this is just, I mean, again, drug fever, but there is a part where he comes back to town, and the dad tries calling her on a phone.
Oh, right, and like
the phone
melts
just
the
melts.
phone.
And then also, someone ends up finding, because like he just leaves the car at the parking lot, and like
Oh,
some
and they
dude
find
just
the woman.
pulls it and just bumps it.
That'll be important later, actually.
Yeah.
So that's a good scene to remember, because like it does actually pertain to the story.
Yeah, because a guy like bumps it, but he hits the car and then like goes over the door and is like, "Hey, sorry." Opens the door and we see like the woman's body, and like she's got like all her guts are falling out of her stomach.
Mm-hmm. And so, the
I
dude,
remember if they fucking go home.
I can't remember what they do, because I think, well, I mean, at some point they go home, right? And the
Yeah.
mom finds them both together, and she's like trying to figure out what to do because
I think they. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure she meets him at home.
I mean, it really doesn't matter if there's anything in between that, because nothing like crazy happened
No.
yet. So she either like sees them before, or like something happens before, but like I can't really put my finger on it because I'm thinking about all the crazy shit that happens like in a few minutes in this
Yes.
movie. So honestly, I can't remember like the mundane stuff. I just remember the crazy shit.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be completely 100% transparent there.
Yeah.
So anyway, she comes home and the like dude is playing with the kid, and she's like kind of pissed off because
He's
like
been 3 years.
he like she like slaps him.
Oh no, they meet. What the hell was it? It's some like park or something. Do you remember?
Oh yeah,
The
that's
kid's
right.
like running around and all this stuff.
And that's when she slaps him.
Yeah.
And is like, "You've been gone for 3 years."
And then they go home.
And then he's like, "Well, I need a place to stay." Basically,
I don't remember.
I don't remember anything. And she's like, "Well, like, come to home. We'll get you at least some clothes and stuff." And they like fixed him with some clothes, and he starts hanging out with the kid, and they kind of like
He's getting along really well with the kid. Like
Right.
the kid's like super happy and all this stuff, and then of course like the stepdad comes home and he's like, well,
he can't stay. Like
the fuck?
I don't feel comfortable with him here. Basically,
he's been
like,
gone
what
for
the
3
fuck?
years. What the fuck? Like
It's like we've been establishing this, like building a
Total.
family.
total bamboozle going on.
Yeah.
And then like the kid also has like he has a pet snake that plays in later.
Well, and we just kind of get this like power struggle between the dad and the new like guy.
Yeah.
And the woman trying to figure out what to do with the
She still has feelings.
the husband that left and the dude, because she
Yeah.
has feelings for both of them, right?
Yeah.
And so she's like trying to help the dude by letting him stay, but then her like new guy doesn't like
not
that.
happy?
He's like he's not happy with that. He's like
No.
he's got to go. Like I don't feel comfortable with this. Like, and she's like, well, what am I supposed to do? Just kick him out on the street? And he's like, he left you. Like,
Yeah.
why are you like why are you like even hung up on this?
Yeah. Because he also talks about like how, the last thing I remember was like being at the cottage and then like a bright light in the sky and
Yeah.
all this stuff.
So she kind of wants to get down to the bottom of that.
Yeah.
And so, you know, some like stuff like some kind of like non-essential stuff happens. Like I said, like the power struggle.
Mm-hmm.
We just see the dad and the other guy fighting a lot, and then we see like the mom trying to figure out her feelings. It's kind of just like, you know, typical like character development stuff.
Then there's
And then
there's a part where like
the kid's snake has like a bunch of eggs that it laid, and the dad like sees them and starts like picking them up,
and
then he like crunches them in his hand and starts eating like the liquid that comes
Yeah.
out. And the kid sees it,
Freaks
and
out.
and runs away. I mean, obviously that's kind of normal. I
Yeah.
think that's par for the course.
they run around
They run around like the alleyways of London for a minute.
and then he finds him in like I don't even know. It's like a basement of something.
Right,
But
and then like, while that's going on, the mom and the stepdad come home, and they realize the kid's not there, so they start running around and looking for him.
the
and
dad
then
finds the kid.
The dad's like, "Well, you don't need to be afraid. Like, I was on another planet, and they showed me so much. And
but to like survive there, they had to change me.
right, but like he's basically saying he liked how they changed him,
He likes that, yeah.
and he wants the kid and the mom to come with him.
So he like embraces the kid.
Well, okay, so he wants the kid to come with him, and then the kid says like, and mom too, and he like hesitates for a minute. He's like, yes, of course.
Yeah, sure.
And so he embraces the kid, but then like it's really uncomfortable. Like some of these scenes are going to be really uncomfortable if you describe. So the kid the guy like takes off the kid's like button up shirt.
He reveals like his like shoulder
And like I don't
and
like this.
starts
And like starts sucking on his shoulder.
and it's like a
And then we get this like skin balloon.
I don't know if he's sucking or blowing.
Well, it's weird.
But let's just say that what he does ends up permanently
Changing this kid's life.
changing the kid and his whole life.
So the mom and the guy come back because they're going to call the police. And the dad and the kid are just hanging out. And they're like, oh, sorry, we went to get some sweets.
Yeah.
Like, we're fine.
And then it's like that night and the kid's in bed. And, they're all like having dinner. and they're arguing.
And the guy's like, you need to leave this house. Like, the stepdad's like, you need to leave this house right now. Like, we're fine. We were fine without you.
Yeah, like we're getting married and all this stuff.
Yeah, like, you need to leave. She's getting a divorce.
And then, like, it keeps coming back to the kid, and he's, like, in his room, and, like, there's a fucking,
He sees, like, this.
It's like
It's like one of those top things where if
Yeah.
like you set it on the ground and you pull the top up and down and it spins the metal, like, Ferris wheel in the middle.
And it just starts spinning on its own.
And it starts spinning on its own, so he, like, throws a book at it, and he's like, stop, stop. And, like, so the dad goes in.
And then that's when the dad basically reveals to him that, like,
he's like, you can manipulate anything you want if you
can do
think
whatever
about
you
it.
want to if you think about it.
Like, you can create anything you want. And
of course,
I'm not gonna lie, this is where the movie just went from, like, kind of like a little bit weird, and it flies off the rails. It doesn't derail. It, like, flies off the fucking rails.
What
like,
happens?
The rest of the movie is just like a fucking drug-addled fever dream.
Well, it's like, what happens when you give a kid, like, that, like, I guess, unlimited power?
And the movie, like, from this point on, literally,
you will see.
If you think it was, like, slow here, like, up until this point, the movie literally does not stop until the end at this point.
Because also,
like, it goes so fast. It didn't even feel like an hour. This is probably like a good 20 minutes in the movie, and there's like an hour left, and it literally does not feel like that at all.
There's also, we should mention, there's they have like a neighbor.
Oh, like an
downstairs.
older woman that's kind of like, she seems like really nice, but she's kind of crotchety.
Yeah, and the kid
she
doesn't
gives
like
like
her.
people shit and stuff, and
There's
the
a
kid
scene
doesn't
where
like her.
the kid, like, she says something to the kid, and the kid has like a little like a toy soldier.
And it, like, he like imitates shooting her.
He imitates shooting her.
So
the kid's snake escapes.
Well, that's soon, but he summons the fucking first of our weird ass fucking
clown
toy things.
He has like a little.
So he has this little like wooden clown toy that, like, when you pull the rope, it like swings around a bar,
and it, like, he looks at it and the thing like swings around and then it disappears.
and it's like a drum roll, like,
Yeah.
and like it like makes the symbol thing, and like a light out of nowhere starts like glowing and like flipping and
There's a
stuff.
spotlight and the clown like walks into it.
The clown walks into it, and I appreciate, like, it's weird, but
Crazy visuals.
It's crazy, but it's kind of well done.
Crazy visuals, because it's like they use like really like unique like lenses and
this guy in a clown suit, and he does a really good job because he's fucking crazy as shit. He's like throwing around this yo-yo that has like
there's all
razor
this like
blades
yeah
on
there's
it.
like razor blades. There's like he has like these like giant like shoes. He has like this hammer that keeps like
bending, and like it like goes all wacky, and like
that's pretty good because like I mean the guy playing the clown, like, he has no dialogue.
no,
it's
he just
all
smiles. He's all like, it's all visual.
Yeah,
and it's
all of
pretty good.
these scenes are pretty much all visual.
Well, it's like super dark except for the spotlight and the colors on the yo-yo, and it like keeps going crazy and everything, and you're just like, what the fuck is going on? And then the snake escapes and like crawls out of the fucking, the room.
And then like it somehow goes into the wall and like crawls out of the ceiling downstairs with the crotchety old lady.
Yep, it goes like crawls on her like chandelier and like falls in her salad.
And she's like, mixing her salad. She sees the snake, and then she takes a fucking
like a mallet, like a meat tenderizer,
just
and like pulverizes the fucking
no hesitation.
Because she like I say pulverized because she literally goes up and like you hear a knock and the mom answers the door, and she's like, I believe this is your son, and it's just like a bag of fucking like brown liquid.
Yeah, and the funniest, I swear to God, I cannot.
The fucking kid.
I laughed harder at this than like I've laughed at like actual comedies recently, but there's a shot where the mom is just carrying the bag of the snake,
And the
And
kid,
the kid is just at the end of the hallway.
his pajamas look like a karate
But he
gi.
looks like he's like in a, it looks like he's in a karate gi and he's doing like a power stance.
like a power stance. He's looking all like menacing.
But it's like, it's like a 5-second shot of just this kid at the end of a hallway just doing a power stance.
So he goes back into his room and he starts like focusing on
He's
his
all
like
pissed
toy.
off.
And the dad's like, "No, not yet.
Not yet.
Like you have to
Well,
wait."
he's because he has like his toy soldier sitting on top of the
Snake terrarium.
yeah, and of course in your head you're like, oh,
You're like, oh shit, Granny's gonna get her fucking. So he's like, not yet. So he starts playing around with the clown and like making just a fuckload of noise.
just a huge racket. Like,
And so like
the clown's all like banging on stuff with his fucking mallet.
and the yo-yo's going all over the
Like
place.
I don't know. You have to watch this because like the visuals.
It's hard to describe
Yeah.
like what exactly the visuals are, but they're crazy.
Yeah.
It's like it's insane.
And
So the
the
like,
mom
the old,
comes in and is like, "Stop that racket!" And
well,
like
and the old lady's like banging on the like ceiling with the
and the kid's
broom.
like, "I hate her." And then he looks at his fucking toy soldier, and then I swear it's like instant.
Yeah, so like the grandma like hears a fucking knock at her door,
And I get
and you see in the window it's like it looks like a guy in a military outfit.
weird.
So like,
That's
so I'm
weird.
I'm like, did he summon like a military guy?
Well, the funniest thing, the funniest fucking thing is, she kind of like, opens the door a little
Well, she has
bit.
the chain lock on
And
it,
the
right?
funniest thing is she opens the door like an inch.
And then like a pair of bolt cutters come in and snip the chain lock. And then like you just see this like weird like plastic hand like grab the handle all weird and like, turn it and like
Well, no, it blows the door.
oh that's right, okay, yeah, it puts a fucking like mine on it like this weird
Because she like, well, the funniest thing is like, the bolt cutters rip the thing open, then she just closes the door like, oh shit, and then like locks it.
this plastic hand fucking puts a mine on it and fucking blows the door open. And you see, it's a fucking toy, like a life-size toy
Yeah,
soldier.
like a life-size toy soldier, and it's amazing.
Well, like it like has a plasticky face. Its eyes never blink. It looks like a toy.
Yeah,
But it's a guy in a suit.
but it's really well done.
Yeah,
Like,
and
the
like
way it
he
moves.
even moves like weird. Like his hands move all like weird.
And like when he walks, it's like very like robotic. It's awesome. But yeah, like she's just like standing in the corner, and the thing like it shoots like a harpoon.
and she like dodges it, and like she like runs off to the different room.
And hides under a couch.
She dies in the stupidest way possible. I'm not even gonna lie.
It's hilarious.
It is hilariously stupid how she dies.
Well, the thing like goes to the curtains and starts like stabbing.
Well,
it
it
with
gets
a bayonet.
it gets it like drops the harpoon and like gets the bayonet
Yeah.
and like starts stabbing the curtains and everything, and it's like about to walk out of the door, and like you see her hand come out from under the sofa and like try and go for a bonbon.
She dropped a bunch of chocolates on the
So
ground.
she goes for a bonbon and like starts to pull it back into the couch, and the toy notices and just stabs the fucking couch, and she like bleeds out. You see the blood like cover the bonbons too.
Can't.
She-
It's amazing.
She literally like in horror
She
movies.
died for a...
In horror movies, you usually get like the where like they make a sound and that's how the murderer knows they're in the closet or whatever.
Chocolate.
But I've never seen where it's like she like is so desperate for a fucking
She was so stressed.
her sweet tooth is so fucking like overwhelming that she has to fucking reach for the bonbon in a life-threatening situation.
Wild.
Crazy.
It's
So,
amazing.
yeah, and oh god, it's the next scene. So the grandma, like, yeah, it's not the grandma, but she's like, older, so I call her Granny. But
Rest in peace, Granny.
so the toy soldier like goes back and like everything's fine at the house, right?
Yeah, and then like the the stepdad's like he's annoyed, so he leaves, and then the mom leaves too. So you just have the Oh yeah, because the mom is gonna go.
Oh, that's right. It's the next day, so the mom's gonna go with the older husband to go to the cottage so that she can like recall some memories.
To see if there's more they can recall. Meanwhile, the stepdad goes to his like photography studio because he's just done with it.
Well, he's just pissed off. I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
Like I said, he's like one of the only characters I mean, I feel for the mom, obviously, but like
I relate
I
to this
I feel for the dude a lot.
because that is a situation.
That's a really awkward situation to be in, even in a horror movie. Okay, it's very uncomfortable. So,
And yeah, like they leave and
so she even goes to the studio and tells him that she's going with whatever, and she left the son with.
oh, don't forget she's looking through his like because he showed up in like a jacket.
Oh yeah, that's an important scene. So she's looking through his like jacket and she sees a photo of the woman that he killed.
And on the back it's like signed like all my love, etc., etc. And then she finds a giant wad of money.
Mm-hmm. And she asks him what it is, and he's like, I have no idea. That's not even my jacket.
And then later on when she goes to talk to the stepdad, she gives him like that photo, and he's just like, "Well, I told you you can't trust him."
She's like you gotta like I gotta like try and like at least try, and everything. And he's like, yeah, do whatever. And she like gets pissed off him because he's doing like nude photography again.
I guess it's like implied that like
he's doing like lewd photos.
Was doing professional photos before they met.
No,
he was doing professional photos now.
He was doing like lewds and like nudes and
but
stuff.
Now he's going back to doing lewds because he's just like, fuck it.
Yeah.
And it's just that they go away, and then now at the house it's just the like live-in nanny who has her dude show up.
Well, and the kid that's eating like ice cream and popcorn.
They're sitting eating ice cream and popcorn, yeah.
Well, and the woman's even like, I gotta go like lay down. I'm like really tired.
And he's like, you're always laying down.
Yeah.
But of course she's going to get laid. And, and of course, as we knew, she's there, and the kid's immediately like knocking on the door, like, I want to play hide and seek.
I want to play hide and seek. And she's like, okay, just one game, but then we got like, I'm gonna lay down. I have a headache.
And the dude's just like annoyed.
So she's like,
can't get his dick wet.
She's like, I'll be right back. So she like, is like dejected, and she's like, the next scene is her like 27, 29, 30.
Ready or not,
here I come. And then she like starts walking around. She like goes outside the apartment and hears her voice. Hears the kid's voice. Sorry, her voice. She hears the kid's voice. And so she goes downstairs, and then she takes the elevator back up.
Because she hears it like traveling in the elevator.
So yeah, she takes the stairs down to catch the elevator, but only sees the guy, like a maintenance guy, vacuuming. And then she hears him like up top, so she gets in the elevator and she's gonna take it up. And as soon as she gets in the elevator and presses the button, it's like a low angle shot, and you see the clown
just
hanging
ninja.
like Spider-Manning to the fucking top of the fucking elevator. And then she looks up and it like attacks her.
And then that's over. And then the guy's like in bed. He's like, okay, like come on.
It's not over because remember it's the kid and the clown dragging her into the apartment. And then she like starts to get up a little bit, and the clown like grabs the hammer and like bends a little bit, and he gets like upset and like
bonks her on the head. Yeah.
Like incapacitates her again, and they drag her away.
Yeah.
And then the dude gets annoyed. And he gets up,
just, gets dressed, and like starts walking around, and he like walks, down this hallway, and there's like a little toy tank, and when he walks down, it turns towards the turret turns, and he walks back, and it turns back, and he looks at it, and then it drives at him,
points up a little bit, and then fires, and like a piece of like a chunk of wood gets like blown off by him.
Fucking thing chases him around the apartment
and like shatters glass. It like rolls over like fucking like knocked over tables and shit. Like it just chases him, and then
he like runs into I guess it's the bathroom, and he sees. I forgot. They showed.
Oh, that's right. We forgot them. I was trying to forget about this scene.
I want to see like what the behind the scenes of this looked like.
This is
wild.
Probably the most uncomfortable scene I think I've witnessed in a long time.
I don't know, man.
It's weird.
Harry Bromley Davenport.
It's weird.
felt it essential.
So they're dragging the woman, and this is like, so we'll go back. They're dragging the woman, and they drag her into his room, and he like pulls up her sweater,
And it's like on her like side of her stomach,
and like starts like
sucking or blowing.
I
Something.
don't know, and she gets like these veiny weird bubbles, and they start like indenting into
Yeah,
her skin.
they start spreading all over her skin, and then he just keeps sucking and blowing.
And it's like it's too long. It's too long of a scene. They focus on it way too much.
I just want to know what the behind the scenes look
It's
like.
like a solid minute and a half of this him like fucking
Okay, child.
like, sucking on his side.
I want you to put your mouth on her stomach and suck.
Well, it's like the side of her stomach, almost her hip.
And
It's
then-
like it's a little too far down.
And then we're gonna have like
Veins
vein effects.
go on it and like fucking indent into her skin and shit.
And you see the kid like with this like look on his face, like
Yeah, it's weird. It's really weird. So yeah, the guy's looking around, and he goes into the bathroom and sees her like cocooned in
yeah,
this
it's like a fucking
webbing.
Wow, yeah, like a cocoon, and then the fucking tank like just blowing the door open, so he runs out of there, and then runs into a room, and there's like a live panther because earlier you saw the kid had like a little wooden panther, so now he's manifested that.
Yep.
It attacks him, and
So that's the end of them, and that's pretty much the end of the apartment.
pretty much other
They
than
they only go back at the. Well, no, they don't go back at the end. I'm sorry, it's not the end of the apartment because there's that
forgot.
weird fucking scene.
well, because so the stepdad is
He's like he's like cleaning out his birds.
yeah.
Sorry, my bad. He's cleaning out his bird's cage, and he like takes the thing, and the mom like, oh no, sorry, the mom tries to call the nanny, doesn't get an answer. Tries to call the maintenance man,
Tells
and
him to check.
So the maintenance man goes up, rings on the doorbell, doesn't hear an answer, like immediately goes downstairs.
He goes down the elevator,
And
which
the elevator, like the lights go off,
and the scene just goes pitch black.
and like the door opens, and then you see this like color wheel coming out, and you're like, oh
He's
shit.
like, what are you doing? What is that?
And then like the clown steps out into the spotlight and like throws the yo-yo, and it like slices his fucking throat open.
I was wondering when that fucking thing was
Yep.
gonna like, hurt somebody.
Slice-a-roonies his fucking throat open.
That's the end of that, and then
So she
in
calls.
the meantime, like we get like shots of like, I don't even know. They're like in the kitchen. The kid's just sitting there like drinking
and
water.
the clown like tips over the fucking refrigerator and like dumps this weird shit into the refrigerator.
And then he like takes
He goes into like the bathtub, and the woman's like full cocooned, hanging from the ceiling,
birthing
birthing like eggs.
eggs, and he puts it in green pea soup.
Yeah, he puts it in green pea soup and closes the refrigerator, and then I don't know. I have no idea what the fuck is going on. So the mom is kind of worried because they're, the dad that came back is trying to get his Mac on, and he's trying to like seduce her, and like they have wine and everything, and he's taking her around the cottage, and she's like, well, let me just call because I didn't hear an answer back. She doesn't hear an answer back from the landlord or the maintenance guy or whatever.
Again.
So she calls again, doesn't hear an answer.
He roasts the phone. Remember?
Yeah.
He puts his hand on like.
Well, remember he tries to. So she calls the guy, the stepdad, to tell him to go check, and he's like, "Yeah, I will." And then, he finds the newspaper clipping.
Well, because he's cleaning out his bird. Like he has like a parrot,
and he sees the photo, and he has the photo that the woman gave him, the mom gave him,
and a newspaper clipping.
He like notices they look really similar, so he like uncovers it, and it's like a grisly murder. And he shows it, and he's like, "Oh shit, I gotta call her back," because he knows at that point that he is crazy. And so he tries to call her back, but that's when he melts the phone wires.
And then
he wants to go on a walk.
And then he goes outside, and the stepdad goes out of his like photography suit, and he sees the kid there,
Yeah, and hanging on top of his car.
And he's like, "What are you doing? Where's Annalise or whatever?" And he's like, "Oh,
I don't know.
she just left me." He's like, "Oh, she just left you by herself?" Like, okay, like get in. We're gonna go see your mom and dad. So they go, and then like the dad and the mom go on a walk, and there's like a whole chunk of the forest that's like burnt, basically.
And she's like, "What happened here?" And she finds him like shivering.
Also, we got a scene earlier where he was like, he's like, kind of like rustling through his hair, and like a big clump of it.
Yep, comes out,
and you can kind of tell like he's.
So you know what's fucking happening. And
they kiss.
They kiss a little bit, and then they go back to the cottage.
And she's in bed, and he like walks, into the bedroom. He takes off his clothes,
and they start getting it on, and she's like, caressing his back and everything, and then she's like, you see this like really grotesque like sore.
It almost looks like.
It looks.
You know what it looks like? It looks like. It looks like. It almost looks like computer wires.
It looks like almost like a. It almost looked like a skeletal like rib, which makes sense obviously, but it's like almost like a skeleton, like a weird skeleton rib.
Because it's all like yellow and brown.
She's like, "Oh, you're hurt. What's going on?" And like she like turns on the light. He's like, "Don't look at me!" And then he like has a scar on his like face now too.
And then he's like, I'm sorry. And then he gets one last nut.
Yep. So he's like, "No, don't look at me. Don't."
I'm sorry.
And like starts going into the corner and goes all fucking nutso.
He had to get one last nut.
He had to convert his son and get one final nut.
And then he just kind of runs
before
away.
Ascending into space.
But then he runs away. And then the dad shows up. He tells the son to like stay in the car, which he doesn't, of course. He goes in the house, and like you see like brief shots of like the dad like putting on clothes, and like his like arms all like the fingers are starting to like combine, and like his face is all like falling apart. And then they run outside.
Well, they try and get in the car, but they realize the son's not there, and
the son's in the woods, and like he comes up to the dad, and like the dad embraces him, and they see them like the son and the dad just like walking up the hill, and there's like a light. And of course,
so the stepdad like runs to him because he wants to save the kid, and the dad turns around with his like face melting, and like shrieks so loud it like melts this guy's brain.
Yeah, he just bleeds out of his ears and dies.
Yeah, he just dies on the ground, and she like finds him and like rolls him over, and it's like, oh shit. And so she goes up,
and then she runs up, and it's like a clearing, and there's all this light, and the dad is just full alien, and he's like it's not the alien from earlier. It's like a fully grown, standing
it's like
alien.
It's one of the most unique alien, like,
it's wild
things I've ever seen. It's like
I also appreciate when
weird
like
skeletal structure, and then it has like this weird like face that has like the bulging eyes
and like a jaw with like sharp teeth. I also appreciate when they're panning up, you see like its heart. It's almost like exposed, and
it's like translucent.
It's like, but yeah, you see that, and like you see the kid, and he's like, his hair is like falling out, and like, I do appreciate though the shot of the kid holding the hand of the alien. It's like father and son, but it's like the kid's normal human hand, and the fucking alien's like
weird
creepy
claw
thing. I don't know.
And like
little things like that
melting, so they just like go into the light beam and just like disappear.
Yeah.
And the mom like goes in the clearing and just like sits down and just like starts losing it basically.
And then
so she's like totally like not even connected to like the world at all. Going up the stairs, like just like with this blank stare, goes into the fucking kitchen and sees these like eggs in the fucking refrigerator.
Yeah, the whole house is like.
We see the panther too.
The whole house is like bathed in white.
And like the panther like walks by her and everything, and she like goes into the refrigerator and picks up this egg and is just looking at it, and like you see a heartbeat.
Pretty good effect.
Yeah, it's like a heartbeat, and then she's like still holding it, and then it gets bigger inside.
And it's like all like because before it's just like it's mostly transparent except for the little.
Now it's like all black and it's like a lot bigger, and it like bursts out and like you see just the tentacle that we saw before suck onto her face, and she like falls on the ground and
And then the camera pans out and the door.
closes. In movie.
The end.
Like, holy shit. Like, I'm not gonna lie. In recent memory, that is one of the most unique sci-fi movies I've ever seen.
This is, yeah, in recent memory, one of the weirdest fucking things I've ever seen in my life.
Like, it's fucking crazy.
Really original.
This movie goes places I did not even know, like...
I did read that originally, and this kind of makes more sense, originally, when they made this, the ending was supposed to be her coming back to the apartment and finding clones of the husband.
Oh, okay.
Like all those eggs hatched, and they were now clones.
Well, I'm assuming they were kind of going for that because it was the same, like, tentacle thing that, like, impregnated the first woman. So, like, I'm assuming, like, you know, she'll give birth to something like that. Maybe a clone.
But that was the original ending, and they filmed it. And I guess producers or whoever thought that the effects in that ending looked like shit, which, I mean, I would be curious to see because, like, I mean, they're just fucking clones. But then they took that out, and they were going to have the movie just end on the fucking shot of her, like, sitting on the field. And then the director was like, well, like, that's too, like...
vague.
It's too abrupt.
Yeah.
The movie, it's a horror movie, so it needs a zinger. And so they made that instead.
Which
apparently,
is still pretty effective.
I don't know if it's here in the States or whatever, but apparently, like, one of the Blu-rays or whatever does have the...
Original ending?
OG ending.
Well, because, I mean, we saw it. I mean, like, we saw it. It's been filmed, so...
I'd be curious, because honestly, like, that makes sense. The actual ending that we got, I mean... I guess it kind of makes sense.
It's a little more ambiguous, I guess, but...
It's just like...
Because it's just like evil aliens come down to space, like from space, and like start cloning themselves, and, you know... It's like face huggers, you know?
Yeah.
It's like they fucking impregnate the woman, and she gives birth to the alien.
There's a lot of stuff in this that,
I wonder if it, like, was like he had to come back for his son, but, like, he could only stay in this human form for so long.
I mean, that's kind of the implication.
Yeah, that's, like, because, like, he starts melting and shit.
Yeah, like, he's not... Because, I mean, he says that, like, when he went to the alien planet, they had to change him so he could, like, survive there.
Right.
So it's almost like... I mean, it's a fucking weird idea, but it's like, yeah, he, like, births himself. It's like he uses a sucking thing.
What a weird way of transportation,
to,
though.
like, almost, like, impregnate himself into a woman, and then it, like, rapidly grows in her womb, and then he is birthed. Because it's like he has an umbilical cord and everything. It's like a rapid thing.
Yeah.
But then he can only live for, like, a handful of days.
Yeah.
Crazy idea.
Shit. Yeah. It's just a wild concept. It's actually executed fairly well. It's bonkers. Like, this movie's fucking crazy. Like, I totally understand if people don't like this movie. Like, I would get it. Like, it's fucking wild. Like, there's a lot going on in this movie. I appreciated all the
I appreciate the creativity.
Effects,
the effects are fantastic.
The creativity. It was just like, it was fucking weird, but, like, there was, like, a lot of me that just wanted to continue to see what the fuck they did next.
Yeah, because, I mean...
Like, at no point was like, we should turn this off, because I was, like, legitimately, like, what the fuck is going to happen next? I have no fucking idea. It's very,
next?
very unpredictable.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, I do too. It's more original, like, so, I don't know. I like it. Shitty to pretty, what the fuck would you give this? I don't know if it gets, like, top marks for me. Like, I
would give it an 8.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I think an 8 is a good way to go, just because, like, I did really enjoy it, and it was very entertaining, but, like, some of the concepts and like some of the shit they did was just so fucking far out there that
I'll see. I don't mind that. My thing is like the reason I'm giving it an 8 is because like it. I mean, drug bender.
mm-hmm.
Parts of it, they don't quite make
like
sense.
I get yeah, we were talking about this after the movie concluded. It was like we get most of it.
Yeah,
right?
I get like 75% of it, but it's like there's parts of it that it's too vague.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why does he get the eggs from the snake?
Well, and why does he have to like? Why does he? There's a part also we forgot to explain. There's a part where he like inhales propane.
Oh, I
Like
completely forgot about that.
he inhales propane, so I don't get what their like energy source is. Like I don't know what.
Why does he melt phones?
Why does he melt phones, and why can he like? Why does he make his son psychic for no reason, even though he uses none of his psychic powers? There was like, there's a lot of like
We don't see the dad,
use powers at all.
and it's like I would get if like he just wanted to make the son an alien, to make the son like him. That's easy, but he makes the son psychic, which made for some fucking lit scenes. But it's like internally, I don't quite get it.
I don't know. Maybe we're missing something, but it just I agree with you. Like 75% great. There's a lot of like holes in it though, where I'm just like I fucking have no idea.
The reason it gets an 8 though is because it's
Those scenes where the Giz going crazy are fucking like so good.
Well, that's the thing is like the main like baseline film works. Like
Yeah.
even though like there's lots of holes, it's not like the movie ends and you're just like, what?
Well, it still as a whole makes sense.
Yeah.
There's just a few things in the movie that we didn't get.
It's not like a total just random shit happens movie where you just movie ends and you're just like, what the
I think
hell?
it was like that. Like we wouldn't like it.
No,
to be
I
honest.
would hate it.
So like, if it was like that kind of movie, I don't think we'd be as into it. So,
But it's still like you can still watch it and like it.
if you
works.
like weird shit, I would say go track this down. Like if you're
Watch Xtro.
if you're into some weird fucking shit, like this is not for mass audiences. Definitely not. Like
Absolutely not.
hell no. But if you're into some weird fucking shit, Xtro from 1982, like
You got to give it a watch.
you won't be disappointed if you like weird fucking like alien shit.
If you want to see some alien thing that you have never ever seen before, this is the film.
It really is. And that's really all I have to say. Just it's a fucking wild roller coaster ride of a movie, and it's well done. And there are a few plot points that don't make a lot of sense, but as a whole, it's very entertaining. So,
I mean, drugs. Well,
drugs are a hell of a thing.
it expands your mind and
Cocaine and meth and all those things are a hell of a drug, okay? Like, they're just... Listen, don't do drugs, kids. If you're an adult, you make your own choices, okay? I don't know. But...
You can be like Harry Bromley Davenport, I guess.
we could all be like Harry Bromley Davenport, okay? Just make weird, trippy fucking movies.
He wanted to
We need
listen.
more Harry Bromley Davenports in our fucking lives.
Harry Bromley Davenport is like Don Doler if Don Doler did cocaine.
I can't stop saying his name. It is just, it's cathartic at this point. Harry Bromley Davenport.
It's too good.
Oh my god, it's so good. Anyway, we're getting off subject. For They Mostly Come Out at Night, this has been Will.
This has been Alex.
We'll talk to you all later.
Bye.
Message me, Harry. Please. Message me,
Message
Daddy.
me, Daddy.
Message me, Daddy.